It is the question I ask myself every single day. What subject am I going to do a video on today? Obviously, it's West Ham. Well, actually, yesterday was probably more Tottenham than West Ham, but it's West Ham related. What am I going to do a video on today? Well, we could jump on. I could tell you how great Konstantinos Mavropanos is, but you sort of know it already, don't you? We could dig into the digital mailbag of questions, which I will do, which we've left over from a cup of tea last Thursday, or I can just stumble across something, and I've definitely stumbled across it. This is a tweet, and I thought, as soon as I saw it, I thought, that's it. Here it is. It's from Rio on. It's from Rio on Twitter or X. Sorry, got to stop calling it Twitter. The two shittest and greatest strikers we've ever made, and there they are. There's a picture of Pablo Felipe. That's only half. That's not even a third of his full name. Pablo Felipe and Valentín Tati Castellanos, the two shittest and greatest strikers we've ever made. I love it. That sums it up for me, and I'm going to go with it. That's what I'm going to be talking about. We've just discussed it on our Patreon player ratings. We've obviously, we discussed all of the players individually on that video, but we discussed Tati, but a little bit easier to discuss really because he scored 2 goals. And what did I say about him on there? Well, firstly, I'm absolutely delighted. I'm delighted for both of them. Delighted for Tati because it came off for him. I thought he was a 1 in 4, 1 in 5 striker. Well, Gio's just told me he's 1 in 3. He's got 2 goals in 1 game. This is absolutely brilliant, and I love it when stuff comes off for him, because as I said in that video, I think he thinks he's a little bit better than he is because he tries audacious things, and realistically he really deserved a goal that he didn't score against Leeds. Okay, he was offside. I mean, he was offside a lot against Leeds, but the finish, the long range finish, was absolutely beautiful. So he deserves a couple of goals. I'm really pleased for him, absolutely delighted, but I'm very pleased for Pablo as well, for very, very different reasons. When I went to the Chelsea game, took my daughter, and we got in there early. Very, very different. When I take the little one, when I basically take the 12-year-old, I myself have got to be sensible. I'm in charge of me. I'm in charge of my daughter. She wants to eat sweets and take stuff and have a hot chocolate and all the rest of it. So look, it's her day more than mine, right? So I don't get to go to the pub and do other stuff like that. And when, as you'll notice, when you go with young kids, they want to get into the stadium early. They want to sit down. So we got into Stamford Bridge quite early. We sat down there before pretty much anyone else was in there. But one of the advantages of that is you get to watch all the warm-ups. I had my camera with me as well. And what was really clear was that Tati and Pablo were warming up together. We'd already seen it in the training ground footage, and you like to think that because they were signed at the same time and they're signed as a striking partnership, you would like to think that, well, of course, they're going to try and build up their relationship. Well, that's true, but it's also really, really nice to see it as well. And they were drilling together. That doesn't sound right, does it? They were doing drills with one another. They were creating a partnership, a bond. This doesn't sound right. Anything I say doesn't sound right now. But they were very much trying to build up that understanding of 2 strikers, and training separately from the others for large parts of the build-up. So it's quite clear what's going on, which is why when, well, Pablo was involved in both Tati's goals, but more primarily the first one, which is why they're both pointing to each other, saying, no, he's the man. No, he's the man. He's the man. It's nice. They're both trying to heap praise on each other, and they're trying to demonstrate why it's going to work, how they've both been bought. They think they're demonstrating that it's probably explained to them why they've been purchased and why they've both bought in to this whole thing. I just thought it was absolutely magnificent, really. I also thought it was quite telling, which was Nuno's comments after the game. He spoke about them as a partnership. He spoke about how much we missed out when Pablo got injured. And that would be my one criticism of the signings, in terms of, if Nuno's going to go for that type of player, which he clearly did, and he articulated this well. He likes the pressing. He likes the high energy. He likes working from the front. He likes what they give the team. The moment he was going to do that, and he was going to switch to pretty much a 4-4-2, if you want to call it that, then he should have gone and got another one as well. So that was really my only gripe with that. But anyway, he was saying how important they are. Bowen said how important they are to the team. Everyone's saying it. it's quite clear. Which brings me back to Rio's post. Let's pop it up again because I think it's so good. It's two shittest and greatest strikers we've ever made. He is a myth wrapped in an enigma. I think that's I think I butchered the phrase there. I don't know. I'm past the point of knowing what's going on with Pablo. I'm not entirely sure why he makes the team better, but he definitely makes the team better. He is got into a little conversation just in comments and bits and pieces, really what people said. Someone compared him to Demba Ba, and someone else compared him to One Chop. Now, listen, One Chop was gangly, but he had more control and he had more skill. He is one of the least skilled strikers I've ever seen. And he doesn't seem to score goals, but he is really, really effective. And I know I mentioned it yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. When you go to those 2 goals, so I mean Tati's goals, they were victories for pressing, weren't they? And nicking the ball. First of all, Somerville did it, which just turned over the ball. I'm pretty much sure it was in the opposition half. Maybe the Bowen set up was more on the halfway line. But you get what I'm saying. It's a case of Wolves must be thinking, hold on, we're meant to have the ball. We're meant to be going on the attack. No, you're not. We've taken it off you. Now we're going on the attack and we're going to score a goal. What I really liked about that first goal with Tati was he knew he was about to lose the ball. And then he gave it to Pablo. And the ball was in the process of getting stuck under his legs again. We've heard it. There's lots of things, by the way, that gets said about Pablo. One of them's Bambi on ice. Another one's like a giraffe trying to play football. He's very gangly. He's very awkward. But somehow he managed to flick the ball out from under his feet. I called it a Rabona pass I don't know if that's accurate at all. That's just what I've called it. And he got the assist. And I was delighted for him to get the assist because it wasn't an accidental one. It hadn't if I told you, for instance, that West Ham had scored a goal and what happened in the build-up to the goal, you hadn't seen it. Pablo was looking that way and the ball hit him on the back of the head and bounced off his arse and then went into the path of Jarrod Bowen and he scored. You wouldn't disbelieve that. But this wasn't that. This wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a ricochet. It wasn't a lucky bounce. This was him flicking the ball to try and create a goal for his teammate, and it all worked. And I was so pleased for him. And I'll tell you why I was pleased for him. I spoke about this on Patreon, by the way. And I'm not gonna, there's no serve chart or anything like that today. All I would say is if you're watching this now and you haven't given Patreon a try, please do give it a try. We'd massively appreciate it. It is the best way that any of you guys can support Hammers Chat. You can either Google it, just search for Patreon and Google Hammers Chat Patreon, or you can use the link below. Basically, it's our 3rd Hammers Chat channel. It's a subscription service. We hope that people enjoy it. Well, feedback seems to suggest people do. We produce loads of other videos on there. One of them's player ratings, of course, that we do on there. But anyway, there you go. We were talking about all this stuff over on there this morning. And I mentioned this morning when we did our player ratings video that the in-house media team, well, I thought they were really encouraging in the way that they spoke to Pablo. And they were pretty much saying, well, Pablo, what about, I don't know, I did a mime for a microphone and I've got one. They had the microphone. So Pablo, what an amazing piece of skill. And that's sort of how it went. And, well, I don't know. I don't speak Portuguese. But anyway, it was translated. And pretty much he was saying, yeah, well, the ball came to me and I thought, I'll try. It was just a bit of skill and I just thought I'd play it in there. He was loving it. He was basic. They were blowing smoke up his arse and he liked it. Who wouldn't, right? I really liked it. I really liked the exchange. I thought it was excellent. I'm just absolutely pleased. Delighted for him. Everyone seems to love him. He's clearly a very, very lovely man. He's got a brilliant attitude and he's been a massive help to West Ham. And it is hard. I can't change my mind technically on the players. I'm not going to change my mind to the extent where I say, do you know what? That Pablo, he's really skillful. He's not. All right. But I think it's learning to appreciate, which I absolutely am doing, what he's got. And I go back, I know I said it a lot over the years. I go back to what Mark Hughes said about Roque Santa Cruz, he said, we thought about signing him loads and loads and loads, but always found a reason not to. He said, in the end, I thought we'd better concentrate. We were better off concentrating on what he could do rather than what he couldn't do. And I like that. And I'm doing that. I'm doing that because it's definitely unlocked the team. We've scored loads of goals. And that's just in the last game. It's definitely helping Bowen. It's definitely helping Somerville. It's definitely helping us closing down and defend from the front, which is what Nuno mentioned. That's what he alluded to. Brilliant. So I agree. Shit and brilliant. If you can be right, I think you can. I think we all can, right? Anyway, let's deal and delve into the digital. I can't even say it. Digital mailbag. Right, where have we got it here? So, okay, this is from Avid Endorsement, who says, and this is a question from Cup of Tea last Thursday night. Good day, gents. My question is, it sounds as if all the talk from Brady about a director of football was hot air. How do we hold the club accountable for lying to our faces? It's been less than a month since they vowed to go back to director of football model. Now it's sounding like that was just a way to calm. I think it's to calm the fan base down. Since the minutes are in print, they can't walk back on the comments without repercussions. Surely. Good post, mate. Good post. I think they can. By the way, they can walk back from the comments. They can absolutely pledge to do something, promise to do something, and then not do it. They have shown they are infinitely capable of that. I totally agree that what you're suggesting is they put the comments out there to placate fans. That's what they did. It's very clear to me what they were doing. They were basically trying to sound more organized, more structured, more cerebral, and make the club sound like it had more of a plan than it actually does. That's what I think was going on there, basically. How can we hold them to account? As I understand it, Hammers United are going to be doing exactly that, or I think the FAB are going to be basically asking them to double down on it. Can we do anything about it? Not at the moment, no. But all you can do is get them to double down on that stance, so when they don't do it, they look doubly stupid. And I think that's that. Couple more, and I think that might leave me with two or three others. Hold on, I've got an interesting one here. We'll carry on. If I got you for another 5 minutes, right, here we go. So, gents, this is from Dougie the Hedgehog. I found a hedgehog in my garden the other night, by the way. Lovely little, cute little thing he was. So, gents, I woke up the other day with a weird train of thought. Our game against Leeds, we can all agree that Kilman didn't cover himself in glory. Very true, Dougie. But is there a train of thought that thanks to his shocking tackle on Stack and his penalty giveaway, that actually sort of helped the game overall? Stack, for example, spent so long on the ground before he walked off the pitch, then came back on and went down again. So all this injury time actually added to the added 11 minutes. We got an added time. I agree. I would agree with that. Yes, I would agree. However tenuous, I would definitely agree that the 11 minutes of additional time were absolutely crucial. Here's the thing. Ultimately, so your final question is, Kilman actually helped us get back in it. Okay, we'll go with that. The biggest help is to be seen this evening when Leeds play Man United, and if Stack and Roden aren't there and they lose, then you may well find that actually I'm blaming Kilman for Roden getting injured. I think he had nothing to do with that. But yes, you may well find that his biggest benefit to the season is not the fact that he made that game more entertaining, because ultimately we lost it. Anyway, there you go. What I want to say. Okay, so this is from Jay Woodsey. Why does everyone use AI slop these days? Okay. I don't know. I don't know. What I would say is two things. This was on Mug of Tea, right? Sorry, on Cup of Tea. I did a picture. So the idea with Cup of Tea is that every week I try and have someone else drink in a cup of tea, right? Whoever is the main subject of interest for that week. And that particular one, it was a wolf drinking a cup of tea because we were playing wolves. I don't know if you if you're suggesting that's AI slop, I hopefully you don't mean that. I think I know what you mean. I'll talk about that in a second. The fact of the matter is, it's so much easier than me trying to Photoshop a wolf drinking a cup of tea. So that's that. What I think you might mean with the AI slop is the videos, yeah, most of my thumbnails, in fact, 99% of my thumbnails I do myself, do use Photoshop. But for that, yeah, the cup of tea one, I can't be bothered. I hope you all enjoyed. Connor did a lovely logo on that, basically, of me and Gio, which is really nice cup of tea logo, which we're going to use going forward. So thank you for that, Connor, certainly. What the AI slop, it's the videos. Okay, so I certainly now disbelieve almost everything I see. So I don't know how many of you were paying attention to the Artemis 2 NASA moon expedition where it went around the moon and came back. There were so many people who'd seemed to taken some footage and then of the moon and then stuck like a UFO in it and stuff like that. But they tried to make it really subtle. I can't believe that NASA's just picked this up. And I was as far from the only bit. I ended up just going onto the NASA website to see the pictures because I am interested. I was interested, but at least I knew, or the BBC or just something. I just couldn't watch them. Honestly, I couldn't watch them on social media. I'll tell you how cynical I've become. You know when Chelsea were all stood around praising the ball, the football, and then the referee was in the middle of it. I thought that was AI when I first saw it. So yeah, I do have a tendency not to believe it. The other thing I'd say is, I have posted a couple of times on X, and I've seen it. So people have posted AI of like Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise, and this is brilliant. Hollywood is dead, and no, it's not. Well, it might be, but it'd be more to do with streaming than AI videos. So that's just not a story. There's no story there, because at the end of the day, for me anyway, film, movies, all that type of thing is storytelling, right? Some of the best films I've seen. Have you ever seen a film called All Is Lost? It's just Robert Redford on his own. I think he doesn't. I think not a word is spoken for the first hour of the film. You're probably thinking, "Wow, that sounds awful." It's really good film. Yeah, so I mean that's about storytelling. I just don't think it can replace all that. Can you mimic an action scene? Yeah, I guess you could. You could have Tom Cruise diving into the sea and wrestling a great white shark, pulling his teeth out, getting the old Oral-B on the rest of him. You could do what you wanted, right? But it's not telling a story. So I do think AI has its uses. I can't even believe I'm talking about this now. 18 bloody minutes. Sorry. I do think AI has got its uses. I just don't think I'm not massively impressed with the video stuff, unless someone wants to do something that's very funny. I think if you want to do something funny and you're not pretending it's real, I think it's fine. I mean, the moment you use AI and start passing it off as real, oh, look, this happened, I think you're cheating yourself. I think you're cheating everyone else. It makes people not believe anything. And hopefully most people would be aware that in my one, the wolf was not actually drinking. I'm not suggesting a wolf can drink a cup of tea. And even if it did, I don't think it used a teacup. I think it used a mug. Anyway, I think that might be it. Hold on. I've got to read this one. This is something else. Oh, I've got a couple. Somewhere in the 90s, this is from Hammer of the Oz. Somewhere in the 90s, I dated and eventually lived with a girl from Peterborough. I've not read on from it. I don't know where this is going. From what I can decipher, there is no recording of a song titled That Loon from Peterborough. There are lots of songs about resentments, lunatics, grudges, and attempted emasculation, but nothing specific to that loon from Peterborough. I'm still trying to answer my own question. What was I thinking 30 years later? What is the strongest resentment either one of you have held? Do tell. That's for another time. I definitely have had some resentments and things. I've definitely held a grudge or two for longer than I should have done. I'll tell you what I did think about that, Oz. There is no song entitled That Loon from Peterborough, but I wouldn't mind betting That is a good use for AI. I wouldn't be mind betting if you put basically what happened into AI and a few more details, not the smutty stuff, of how you. Well, I don't know. Were you stalked? I don't know what happened. Were you? Seems, yeah, 30 years ago, you probably weren't catfished. Whatever whatever happened to scar you that much, my friend, I think if you put the details into AI, they may well come out of a song for you, and you can title it That Loon from Peterborough. Anyway, Zanussi dish. I'm going to answer this. Well, why wouldn't I? Who is your favourite sportsman outside of football? That's a really good one. A really, really good one. I mean, historically, it was Nigel Benn. I can't believe I've discussed this before. Somewhere in here, I've got a scrapbook. Nigel Benn used to live a few doors down from me nan growing up in Ilford. Nigel Benn once, here's a claim to fame. Nigel Benn once took me to 7-Eleven in Gants Hill in his car to get a smoothie. No, a Slurpee. It was called a Slurpee. It wasn't called a smoothie, Slurpee. Like a slush puppy, but better. Slurpees were better, by the way. I just went to school up. Well, he wasn't taking me to school. I went to school up in Valentine's up there in Gants Hill. I followed his career. I mean, you got to remember he was his brother. His brother sadly died before that. But I followed him probably as close as I followed any sportsman. So he was in the army, and he was like boxing champion in the army. So I've got all the cutouts from like his first fights and stuff like that, and from all the local rag in Ilford and all that. And ironically, I stopped me scrapbook. I think I've shown it on Patreon once or twice. I stopped me scrapbook when he became really well known. I thought, have you ever been followed that band, that little band, and then they become big, and then you think, everyone, I was here first, mate. There you go. There's a bit of resentment for you. Yeah, so Nigel Benn, I really followed, but we were really lucky at that time in and around that time, because you had Steve Davis, who was in Romford as well. You had Frank Bruno, who wasn't far. I've said this loads and loads of times. So I used to go swimming in Barkingside. And I met Akabusi. I can't even believe I haven't put photos up. I met Chris Akabusi loads of times before. I've got pictures of me as a kid with Akabusi. So I've known him for years and years and years. Well, I've met him for years and years and years. I wouldn't say I knew him well as a kid or anything like that. But I mean, obviously, he turned out to be a world champion as well. There were Graham Gooch as well. So he used to play in Valentine's Park for Essex, played there. There were a lot of really good sportsmen around the area at the time. I'm missing people out. I know I'm missing people out. Obviously, and that's it's obviously non-West Ham. Really good part of sport. And the other one is my grandparents lived over in West London, and I used to run when I was young. I used to do some training with a coach called Ron Rodden, who was also Linford Christie's coach. He was a big hero of mine, Linford Christie. Yeah, I mean, love it at the moment. The Formula One. I like. There's loads of British drivers. I like George Russell. I was really pleased Lando won the F1. It's been really good watching Moses Atoma come up through the boxing. I think definitely even more so than after watching Tyson Fury the other night. It's his time now. That's really good. He's from Chatham. Down near Rochester, isn't he? So it's good time for sport. Good time for sport. But yeah, there are a lot of them. Lot of sportsmen. Really enjoyed watching a lot of the sportsmen actually. So, and there'll be others. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to finish doing this video, and then I'll remember another 3 or 4. Brilliant, though, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Nigel Mansell back in the day, of course, as well. Yeah, but it would be hard. It would be hard for me to think of anyone that I followed more closely, probably than Nigel Benn, actually. So, yeah. Yeah, probably that. Probably that. Anyway, right. I am gonna skedaddle now. I can't believe. And it's funny. Sometimes I do a video and you think, what am I going to do a video on today? And it was this. You don't know what you can do a video on, and 25 minutes later, you're still talking. Anyway, thanks. Do appreciate everyone for tuning in. Feels a lot better this week, doesn't it? I'm in a good mood today. Definitely in a good mood after, West Ham and, I guess Tottenham as well. I'm in quite a good mood, I guess, if Tottenham had won. So it's helpful. Listen to Simon Jordan earlier on. He's not backing down from his opinion that West Ham are going down, but he's softening his stance. Definitely softening his stance. Right, I am. I've got stuff to do. I've got housework to do now. I'm gonna skedaddle. Kids back to school today. Jessie's back to school, so tidying up means you've got to think about. I was gonna say I've got to think about dinner. I have to think about dinner more actually when she's when she's at school. But anyway, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I can't stop talking.